Hello, class. I am going to record strategies 7, 8, and 9 of readers of historical fiction, the strategies that strong readers use to get the most out of reading uh, fiction books that are historical fiction genre. And we left off with see the big ideas and small details, and I wanted to add something that's coming up in Journey to Topaz and Snow Treasure. So green for Topaz, blue I'll try to use for Snow Treasure, and I'm going to draw a pearl earring, a pearl ring that is a small detail, and it is a gift. It is a gift to Yuki, who is the main character, and Yuki receives the gift, and it symbolizes something. And yes, it is a piece of jewelry similar to the piece of jewelry from a different story. I hope you remember. The other thing in Snow Treasure, I'm going to draw what I imagine their sled looks like. The children in that story are going to use these sleds to do something very brave. And those sleds from Snow Treasure will be very, very important. So, moving on to the new strategies. The new strategy, the newest one, is take into account the minor characters. And what I had in mind for take into account, I thought I would draw Henrik with his milk pail, and Anna Marie and Ellen. But then I realized, well, it's two brand new books. So yes, keep in mind whoever the main character is, and I'm going to put a Y for Yuki. Now, Yuki, hopefully you'll if you haven't yet, you'll listen to Journey to Topaz. Yuki is not the eldest; she's actually the youngest. So her perspective, remember perspective? Her perspective is different than Anna Marie's. Her responsibilities are different. But in addition to her, I want you to focus on the other characters. There's an older woman in Journey to Topaz, and she is very kind. And this is my attempt at drawing her. And she likes to make. Oh, speaking of small things, Mrs. Jameson likes to make a treat, a special treat, which is gets back to over there. If you do small details, this cup, this hot item, hot drink that she makes for Yuki would work. Another thing you should take into account, other characters in that book would be the brother. Ken is the older brother, and because the father is taken away, Ken has to. I'm going to put a basketball over here, and then Ken has to take over. He has to be the father or the man of the house that's the expression they use. So he has to help the mother run the house, but he also has to do things, financial things that the father would do if he were still around. There is no youngest. This is supposed to represent the younger sister, Kirsty, but there is no youngest sister. So the minor characters for the Journey to Topaz involve Mrs. Jameson, the neighbor, Ken, the older brother, and the mother. Those are all minor characters. She also has some pets and the house, but those aren't really characters. That's the setting. But so think about those. And as far as Snow Treasure, the minor characters here are the grown-ups. So those are soldiers. Those are German soldiers. And, and coming up soon, they're the country of Norway is going to be invaded, and the grown-ups. So we'll put the Grown-ups here. So the grown-ups all have very specific roles. And if you pay attention, you can see how the grown-ups work with Peter. So the main boy is Peter, and I'll draw a cap on him. So Peter obviously is very important. It's told from not from his perspective, but he's the most important character. However, Peter is the leader of this bunch of kids. So yes, follow him for sure, but also see what does the author do? How does the author include other characters to move the story forward? So Peter, and so this could represent the other kids, or it could represent the grown-ups who, similar to some cartoons, the grown-ups give the kids instructions and then they disappear to do their grown-up responsibilities. Let's see. Yeah, the only other thing is to finish this the strategy itself, which is take into account. So to think about as a writer, why does the author why does the author have the other characters do the things they do? Why do they say the things they say? If they are kind, how do you know they're kind? If they are mean, does the author say that they're mean, or do the words they use come across as mean? Because remember, skilled authors show you things; they don't tell you things. That's something we did a long time ago. We worked on showing, don't tell. So the T, again, that was all of this was Journey to Topaz. Okay, so focus on the minor characters in addition to the main characters. All right, so next, the second one, second strategy is you turn to nonfiction to deepen your understanding. And the best example of that is what we did already, where for Number the Stars, I shared some videos. And even though those videos pertain to the other book, they can still give you a sense of what was happening, especially in the European front, because this takes place in Europe. This, to deepen your understanding of what happened to Japanese Americans in California and the West Coast, we'll have to find out more about the relocation. And there are still people who were Yuki's age who are still alive, similar to people who survived the Holocaust and who survived concentration camps. There are Japanese Americans who are older now, 70s, and so, but they have their own testimonial, maybe. Oopsie, testimonial. So testimonials would be good. Articles. We have News ELA as a resource. News ELA. And what these do, these testimonials, deepen your understanding. So we turn. When we say turn, it's, go look and go find it. So turn to nonfiction to help you deepen your understanding of what's going on. A big example is Ken, the older brother, is going to Cal. This story takes place in Berkeley. It starts in Berkeley. In Cal, the university, Ken is learning about the policies that are being discussed, and he and his other college students are hearing that there's a very good chance they're going to be, all the Japanese Americans are going to be taken away, and he has very strong feelings about it. And the more as someone who grew up in Hawaii, I was not aware of the so I'm going to do FDR. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was president. And the relocation that happened was something that was a decision he made. So articles, books, uh, they discuss, at one point they discuss a newspaper. Turn to nonfiction to deepen your understanding. And sometimes when you read a book, you want to deepen your understanding as you read it, and that's a good thing. So if you find something interesting in the book, go ahead and see. Oh, I have a post-it here. You can write down post-its and find out more information online. Great. Now the last strategy, this is number 9 for the last one for today, and the last one for this page actually, is to notice universal themes and ideas across books. So again, we have the 2 books. Snow Treasure has a similar theme. I did for the universe. I did the sun and moon, and so there's the universe. A little bit of a pun there. So notice universal. And what that means is universal doesn't mean that, and doesn't deal with outer space. What universal means is that it's an experience that everyone in our universe, that's Earth, we can all identify with feelings of happiness, of sadness, of fear. A big theme in Journey to Topaz, especially, is the mother talks about fear and how when people are afraid, they do very strange things. And I don't know how much you've been noticing, but people right now, there's a lot of fear going around, and maybe you yourself have done strange things, or you've heard people out there who are doing things that before they got scared they might not have done, and maybe when they're not scared they'll stop doing. But so notice when you read different books, what themes are going through. In this book, the theme of resistance is really big, and that ties directly into Number the Stars and the resistance of a group of people who are occupied by an occupying force. So the soldiers that are there, this has a very strong connection to Number the Stars. The theme here, we haven't read anything yet that talks about what it was like from the perspective of Jewish families who were in the internment camps or in concentration camps. These are Americans who are being imprisoned by their own country. So that's another very, intense and sad part of American history. But just like a lot of things that are important, it's not necessarily easy to talk about. So notice universal themes and ideas across books. ACROSS, books. Now, the good news is, if you wish to listen to these books and make some notes, or email me questions or ask questions the next time we have a video conference for reading, that's great. If you wish to take anything that you hear and compare it to the books that you're reading, I know some of you are reading books or rereading books that you've read before. That is absolutely okay. I'm curious what you notice. If you notice anything in your books where the characters are afraid, or if they have to be brave, if they're having heartbreak. When Yuki's family is told it's time to leave, there's a lot of heartbreak, and they're going through their house, and the mother is having to identify what to bring and what to leave, and notice what she's looking at, and how other people if they've had to leave things behind. Um, Notice how authors deal with the feelings of leaving things behind. So these are the latest three, but this is the whole of our readers of historical fiction reading strategies. Readers do you don't do all of these things at the same time necessarily, not even me. And I I'm getting pretty good at reading, but even I don't do all of these things at the same time. It does pay to talk to other people, to share your ideas, and maybe someone else notices things that you didn't notice, and vice versa. Maybe over here, you notice something about a minor character, and someone else notices something about the other characters, and you can learn from each other. So definitely here, if you read anything and it deepens your understanding, please share it out. And then lastly, this is something we continue to do as readers. I'm still, as I read, I try to find connections with all the books I read, whether I'm reading books for the class or if I'm reading books for fun, is keep finding threads, keep finding similarities. Okay, hope you enjoy listening to the next couple chapters, and I'll see you tomorrow.